Alrighty then. So I just got sent a demo from one of my subscribers who was keen to hear my thoughts on the game. I suppose I should give some context for anyone that might not be a regular on my channel, but I'm no god at CS at all or anything like that. Was an Eagle back in the day when I played a bit more seriously. But hey, I thought I'd have a squiz, give my 2 cents a little bit and see what I thought about, I suppose, a couple of his plays, and maybe try and give a little bit of feedback on areas for potential improvement. You never know, he might be significantly better than me. But we'll wait and see as he goes for that sneaky frag. This is an aggressive CT play to start off. Ooh, not fun. Potentially, I suppose, taking a little bit more time with your clicking. It's something I actually do like chronically terribly. It's just mash the button as fast as I can with pistols. But things like the P250, the 5.7 USP, slowing down your shooting can be a good start. Otherwise, I like the aggressive CT plays. I'm a bit unorthodox in many of my opinions in Counter-Strike, but I like an aggressive play. Alright, so I've actually already watched this game through and recorded a lot of stuff from Jumble's perspective throughout the rounds that I thought was good, bad, somewhere in the middle. And then of course my recording didn't work, so I'm just watching Jumble's highlights at the moment to briefly address a couple of the points that I was going to talk about. And as you can see in these few clips here, one thing's economy. You're kind of half buying a lot, and there is some tasty fragging going on, and your aim's pretty good overall, and your decision making's also pretty good. Like that was a couple of really nice sprays. Like I can't spray, and you just did fine to get a double with it. So I mean, hey, why not? And there was a few rounds where you purchased sort of P250s and stuff when you could have bought like an M4, but I suppose if it's what works for you, play to your strengths, play to your opponent's weaknesses. I know at this rank I saw quite a few sort of shotguns being used and that kind of stuff that I wouldn't normally necessarily see. But hey, if it's getting you the frags, getting you the rounds, getting you the wins, then that's the main thing. Don't necessarily feel the need to subscribe to what's being done at a pro level or a global level or whatever. Like, play to the rank that you're playing at, I suppose, and play to your skills. So that's good. Oh, a tasty nosk just on the DL. I think Jumble's got like 8 nosks or something with the AWP this game, which was pretty insane. Again, nice crosshair positioning, nice spray, does the job. Again here, lift that crosshair up a little bit, but good decision making. Here's one of these rounds where we've got a P250 when you had like 9k in the bank, so, but who cares apparently. Got the bomb, got the frags. Maybe slow down your spraying with pistols a little bit. I noticed it in the first couple of rounds as well. Like, you're getting the frags, don't get me wrong, but you might be able to be a little bit more efficient and effective if you tap just a fraction slower. And there's another nosk. And another nosk, as you do. I thought for a second you were going to nosk him as well, it's truth. Oh, and you do. Lovely. I mean, who needs a scope anyway? And there's another nosk. It's insane. I don't understand. You're better at nosking than AWPing. And again, another P250 round. Not sure what your economy was like, but hey, it's working. Nice shot. Good defuse. This game went on to be a draw, but Jumbles carried real hard.
which I'll talk about briefly afterward. I'll jump in the game and sort of summarise a couple of points where I think some improvements have been made. And that kind of thing, because yeah, you're definitely playing above the rank of lots of the people that you're in here with. If it works for you, lovely. Right, we might cut it off there, because Jumble's played a lot better positioning wise, in my opinion, in the T half. So I've kind of addressed the CT stuff, so we'll jump over to some hot tips after this frag. There we go, tasty. Good tapping versus spraying. Alright, so I've just finished watching Jumble's demo that went on to draw. And I'll start by saying I think that your T side was much better, even though you didn't necessarily get as many frags. Your positioning and decision making I thought was a really improvement, so whether you just decide to play a bit more seriously or you're just better at T side, I don't know, but yeah, I thought you played quite well, and your economical decisions were also, I think, a little bit better, which sort of brings me to a couple of points I'm going to highlight. The first one is about economy. It's a really easy way to move up through those earlier ranks, is to think about what you're buying and when. So if you have the money, the AK is, like on T side at least, an amazing purchase because it's just such good value for money. But as far as buying SMGs, a lot of the guys on your team were sort of buying, I saw a couple of Bisons, a couple of MP7s and MP9s and that kind of thing. The Bison, for example, I love it in many ways, an absolutely insane clip size, really good in some very certain situations, but I mean according to the meta, like if you look at how many shots it takes to shoot this guy, aiming his torso, that was like, I'm pretty sure it's 10 body shots, and 2 headshots from very close, and the further away you get, obviously, the harder that becomes. So, you know, comparatively, obviously your AK is going to be one-hit headshot literally at any range. So it's better in a lot of situations actually if you have to miss buying a gun around and then buy something like an AK or M4. Particularly the first few rounds on CT, there were some decisions that I thought were a bit interesting. The other thing I was going to say is you can buy things for your teammates. I saw you give away quite a few AWPs, which is rad, but a few rounds you had enough money to buy 2 M4s, so one for yourself and one for someone else, but you decided to eco or go with a P250, which obviously was a gun that you're quite good at using. And it worked out surprisingly often, so that's rad. But yeah, maybe if you want to start going up those ranks, a good thing, especially when like you absolutely carried your team that entire game. Like I think you ended up with like 37 kills or something, 35 kills. Is if you've got a bad player who's using a Bison, no matter how bad they are, they're not going to get many frags. But then you buy them an AK or an M4, and all of a sudden you might move that bad player up slightly. Which basically, if you can get your team to play better, even if you're playing well. So if you're playing good, that's great, but to move up the ranks you need to be winning. So you need your team to be assisting you in that as much as possible, which one really simple way is to be economical as a team and buy and share the money that you have. So you can also kind of get hints and tips with that kind of stuff, like if you're managing to keep track of the economy, say, you know, let's save, let's buy, let's half buy, that kind of stuff, and get some consensus within your team. The other thing is nades. I got from my starting rank was Nova 4, I think, when I first started playing Counter-Strike, and I got there from to Eagle. Pretty much, actually I'd say probably DMG, pretty much just through nades. I still don't have particularly good aim, like I'm not terrible, but I'm definitely not the best with my aim, but I really like throwing nades, so learning tricky nades where you do, you know, if you're coming up here or whatever and you, but I won't hit it now, there you go, like little pop flashes and stuff, that's all well and good, but at the end of the day, like, let's say you're holding A, yeah, and there's guys pushing from short, guys pushing from long, like, just, you know, that for that guy, or if you're back here even, just put one on top of there. That flashes the guys that are here, flashes some of the guys that are there, flashes the guys that are coming up here. And there's no complexity to that at all. You know, you can, as I say, you can do all your fancy stuff. You can know like, oh yeah, like let's do that one and then go in and whatever. That's all well and good. That was a terrible flash. But yeah, use your nades. They're cheap and they're worth it. Flashes in particular, like I personally go flash, smoke, flash as my standard order of purchases, and then if I can afford a molly or a frag, I might get that as well, or a decoy. But the number of times you can use a smoke either to lock down some space, like just buy yourself some real estate, buy some time, or even like that, for example. If you can't throw flashes and you've got a smoke and a flash, like it's the best pop flash in the game because you can't see the flash inside the smoke. Like simple stuff that's really beneficial, especially against players that don't know how to avoid flashes or play sort of in a way that assists in that. And the last thing I'm going to mention, because I'm starting to waffle a little bit, is crosshair placement, which I'm not a god at either, but there was a few times where you'd kind of be caught aiming, you know, maybe, what's a good example, here, aiming here or here. There was a couple of clips with the MP9 early on the CT half where you're kind of aiming about here. Just lift that crosshair up a little bit and try and, you know, think about what height is his head going to be when he comes around the corner. That's all well and good, but that's one shot, you know. So if we had, there we go. If this bloke came around with another guy behind him, and you could one-shot him and then spray at the next guy, or just pull down from the one shot on the other guy, much more efficient use of the ammunition. So yeah, definitely a consideration. Otherwise though, yeah, thought your T half was good. Work on a little bit of economy stuff on your CT half, and buy to your strengths. And yeah, I think you will definitely start to get lots of wins and lots of moving up through those ranks, because you were definitely playing above the level of the guys that were on your team. So yeah, good stuff.